Hello friends, in this video I will talk about plant adaptations. The term adaptation means the process of change by which an organism or species becomes better suited to its environment. Adaptation can also be described as a feature that the plant or animal have that help those plant or animal to live successfully in their habitat. So we can summarize the meaning of adaptation as the development of special features or characters in response to its environment which help it to live successfully in that particular environment or habitat. The plant adaptation or simply the adaptation causes the change in the body of that plant or animal. The change may be morphological, you can say the change in the external structure, the change may be in the anatomical, change may be anatomical, or you can say in the anatomy, that is the internal structure of the plant, or the change may be in the physiology, or you can say the functioning of the body. The plants have been classified on the basis of water requirement into hydrophytes, mesophytes and xerophytes. Hence, in this lesson, I will discuss about the types of plant adaptation on the basis of those particular habits of plants. Hydrophytic adaptations, mesophytic adaptations, and xerophytic adaptations are the types of plant adaptations. First of all, hydrophytes. The hydrophytes are the plants which are adapted to living either in waterlogged soil or in water. They may be either fully submerged in the water like the Vallisneria, or they may remain floated or partially submerged in the water condition like in the case of Salvinia or Nelumbo. Or the hydrophytes can also be found in the waterlogged soil or the soil which is always flooded with the water, like in the case of Ranunculus equatilis. Now let us discuss about the hydrophytic adaptations. First of all, roots. The roots of hydrophytes are completely absent in few instances, or it may be poorly developed. The roots are generally fibrous types which lacks root hairs and root caps. Here are few examples of the roots of hydrophytes. The roots of hydrophytes are generally underdeveloped, or you can say absent, in comparison to the mesophytes and xerophytes, because the root mainly serve for anchorage and absorption, and hydrophyte, as they are present in water, face the scarcity of water, and they can also absorb the water through its body surfaces. Hence, the roots of the hydrophytes are generally underdeveloped or completely absent. In some hydrophytes, the stem is long and slender, whereas in some it may be spongy. In other, the stem may be modified into rhizome or runner. For example, in the case of Ceratophyllum, the stem is slender and flexible, whereas in the case of Eichhornia, the stem is spongy. You can see the bulkier stem which encloses mass of air species inside it. Marsilia, which stem is modified into a rhizome, and it also helps in the reproduction. Now the leaves. The leaves of the hydrophytes mainly serve as the floating organs for the floating hydrophytes. The leaves of floating hydrophytes are smooth, shining and coated with wax, and they are basically very large, which can support the weight of the entire plant to float. The leaves of the submerged species are reduced and thin. For example, in the case of Nelumbo, you can see the leaves are larger, which keep the plant afloat on the water. Whereas in the case of Hydrilla, the leaves are reduced and very thin. The cuticle is absent or poorly developed in the stem and leaves of hydrophytes. The stomata are totally absent in the submerged part. And talking about the cuticle is the layer which covers the epidermis or the skin of the plant cells. These are mainly there to protect the water loss, or you can say to avoid the water loss from the plant surfaces. Since they are always found in water or beside the water resources, the cuticle is useless in the case of hydrophytes. Hence, the cuticle is absent or poorly developed. The tissues of stem and leaves are filled with air spaces. You can see these all structure are known as air spaces, and the tissue is known as parenchyma. And you can see in this picture this whole structure is the section of the stem of the hydrophyte, and you can clearly see the air spaces inside these structures. The mechanical tissues in the hydrophytes are poorly developed to provide the flexibility to the stem. If the stem is stiff and rigid, it can be broken by the current of the water. The vascular tissues are also poorly developed. The pollination and dispersal of fruit and seeds are mainly done by the water. The transpiration is absent in the submerged part of the plant. The mucilage, which is the mucus-like substance, prevents the plant from the decay in the water. Now, mesophytes. Mesophytes are the common lane plants which inhabit those places that are neither too wet nor too dry. For example, Imperta, Rosa and Salix. These plants are found in moderate condition of water, or you can say the places which are neither too wet or the places which is neither too dry. These plants are mainly found in the moderate condition of water. Now the mesophytic adaptations. The root system of mesophytes is well developed, which may be taproot or adventitious. The roots are highly branched and it bear root caps and root hairs. So you can see the fibrous root system and the taproot system. And in this figure you can observe the root hairs which are developed on the taproot systems. The stems of mesophytes are generally arid, rigid and branched or unbranched. The leaves are usually large, broad and varied in shape. So this is the example of mesophytic plant, which is basically the mango, and here are the types of leaves which are different than that of the hydrophytes we lately described. The cuticle is moderately developed all over aerial plants. The numerous superficial stomata are present on both surfaces of leaves. The vascular and mechanical tissues are properly developed to withstand the load of the plant itself and to help the conduction in the plant. The pollination occurs through the air and agents like insects or birds. For example, in the case of this picture, the pollination is done through these bees, and in this figure you can see the seed is dispersed by the help of wind. And now xerophytes. The xerophytes are the plants which grows in dry environment or habitat, or you can say xeric condition. The places where available water is not present in adequate quantity is known as xeric environment or xeric habitat. And these are the examples of xerophytes. As for xerophytes, the root system plays the vital role in the survival of xerophytes, and it is very well developed and profusely branched. The root hairs are densely developed around the tip of the roots. The root system is much more developed than the shoot system. And you can see in this figure, the root is much more branch and it is distributed in a large place to absorb every bit of or every drop of water in that particular area. The stem of the xerophytes may be aerial or subterranean, and the stem of some xerophytes may be hard and woody, whereas other may be phylloclade. The phylloclade means these fleshy stems which store large amount of water. The stem of the xerophytes also serves for the storage of water. In the case of Pachypodium lemuri, you can see these stems also serve as the water storage organ. But as in the case of Euphorbia milli, it is very hard and woody, and it is full of thorns. In many xerophytes, the leaves are generally reduced, and it is reduced in the form of scales, needles or spines, and which is also provided by the thick cuticle and dense wax coating. The leaves are small and finely divided, and which falls during dry seasons. And in this picture you can see these spines, which are also the form of leaves. They are much more reduced and they appear as a spine. These are the small reduced leaves. And in this figure you may observe the scales like leaves. The modification in the leaves is mainly to avoid the transpiration, which is mainly the process of losing of water from the aerial parts of the plant. Hence, the modification in these leaves in this form may help to reduce the transpiration rate. And as xerophytes remain in the scarce condition of water, they develop many ways to store the water, and they mainly store the water inside their succulent leaves or succulent stem. For example, in the case of aloe vera, you can see the succulent leaves which store the water in the form of gel. Or in this figure, you may see the bulk of stem which is filled with water. Or other adaptation to avoid the water loss is heavy cutinization, lignification and wax deposition on the surface of plant parts. The waxy coating, spines and sometimes thick mat of hair can reduce the air movement and water loss near the plant surfaces. The next adaptation is the sunken stomata, which is also the very important feature of the xerophyte to restrict the transpiration. The vascular and mechanical tissues in the xerophytes are well developed in the xerophytes. The flower is developed only in the febrile condition. The fruits and seeds are covered by very hard cells. For example, as you can see in the case of Pachypodium lemuri, the seeds are covered by these hard cells.